Okay, so we're going to start with my short film, art film, poetry film, Holy Grails. What I wanted to do was I wanted to make something that was in the realm of Andre Wagner's self-portrait work. That was like the biggest inspiration for me for this piece, and that's how I view a lot of my poetry is like self-portraits. And so I viewed this film as an opportunity to really explore that visually. As we get into this, you're going to see similar trends because I like top light a lot. So it just depends on how I'm modifying it. This was just like kind of like my typical top light setup. I had the f22C, the aperture f22C, and it was hanging overhead on a combo stand. And what I usually do with this setup, with that particular light, is depending on how I want it to look, I'll either double or triple, sometimes even quadruple diffuse it. So I get it really close, but I diffuse it like a lot. And I think this was a double diff, and the light was fairly close. So this setup is what I would call the in the sentimental mood setup. When we shot that movie, like 90% of the film when Don and Debbie are talking is shot with a kind of jury-rigged book light. And we had like some cheap aperture knockoff that we would bounce it off of unbleached muslin and then through diffusion, so creating a book light and creating just this really nice soft light. Now, I don't think I was bouncing this through diffusion, but I do know specifically that I was bouncing this off of unbleached muslin hanging on a C-stand. This shot is pretty much all natural light. When you show depth, when you show that you're in a space, it just, to me, it ups the production value. And I had these really bright lights in my bathroom there. Like those lights were actually really bright. I actually think they're clipping, if I recall correctly. But just the way the light falls on the stove to the right and the cabinets on the left and the dishwasher right there on the left, like it just really, it reminds you sort of like of the photography of like Roy de Carave or like Gordon Parks' monochrome work. I really wanted these frames to speak on their own and really complement the words that you hear. So for this close-up, I did add a tube light, and I had it clamped to a vice clamp, and I put it almost like really like at eye level with me to where you actually see the shadow to the left side of the frame from the tube light. But that tube light is what's giving me that twinkle in my eye, but it's also making the edge of light more defined, you know? So to me, it makes that shot much more effective. Moving forward to my short film / music film with my brother, Mellow Rebel. This was shot on the Ursa Mini 12K, Ursa Mini Pro 12K, Super 35 with the DZO Vespits. I'm pretty sure that this was shot on the 40 millimeter lens, if I recall correctly. This is God work, and this is just all natural light that's happening right here. Moving on to this close-up with Greg, a lot of people have asked me when they're seeing this shot, they think that I lit this. No, the sun was just, we kind of picked golden hour. We went down there at the time when we knew the sun was going down, and the way the light just fell on his face was perfect, you know? So again, it's a lot of times it's about location, and it's about knowing where to put the camera in proximity to where the light is coming from. Knowing where to put the camera, knowing where to put the subject in proximity to where the light is coming from. This is an ill shot. Again, all natural light. I can't take credit for this, but again, good location, good framing, wardrobe plays a part in it too, the leather jacket and the beret. And then you have, I like the little detail from the beret on the, like, just the right side of his temple right there. Like, I look at those little details and I just love those little details. This is another example of just using what you have. We were on location at a friend's crib, and it was solely lit by that lamp right there. This shot is probably one of my favorites in the piece. B was lit in the foreground with a tube. He was lit with a tube, like a soft tube, kind of sort of overhead frontal kind of situation. Just right above camera, right above frame. And then Greg in the background was lit with a Amaran 300C with a dome modifier on it. And then this lamp in the background on the left side of the frame, that lamp is literally not the fixture on the lamp itself. It just had a light in it. And I just thought it was a nice visual, interesting piece. And also, too, behind B, we also had a tube on the couch behind him to, like, give him that slight little bit of light on his back, that slight little light trail on his back. This is kind of the same shot, but just a close-up of G. And all we did was we just moved the Amaran 300C a little forward so it can kind of give a little bit more wrap. But we still wanted the majority of his face to sort of be in darkness, because this is kind of like the turn, if you will. This is from my short film, Proof of Life. The way I lit this was essentially when we filmed the right side of the frame, that's the only side I lit. I pretty much, again, top light, had the aperture f/22C hanging on a combo sand over me on the right side of the frame, and me on the left side of the frame. I just let that warm light just kind of light the left me, if you will. And so, pretty simple setup. So then we have this joint, which, you know, had my feet. And yes, this is real snow. It was wintertime. And let the dogs out, you know what I'm saying? Just to let them know that we ain't scared of nothing. But, you know, this was just, the sun was low, found the perfect time. Ironically, I had this line in the piece where I mentioned light bulbs. And just a couple days prior to this, I guess somebody had knocked down a light pole outside of my apartment complex. And it was snowing on the ground. I just was outside just kind of looking for things to film. I didn't really plan this shot. And I saw just that. And I was like, man, what happens if I walk through there barefoot? And to me, it's just a powerful image, you know? You know, it felt like a Tarkovsky kind of image where it's just this texture, and you're like, what am I looking like? What am I looking at? It's like it's saying something. You don't necessarily know exactly what it's saying, but it's saying something. And the light was just falling perfectly. These are from my short film, The Past Path. This shot with me and Harper sitting on the couch. This is out again at the old apartment. First thing I want to point out, the lamp on the left side of the frame, that had a sun-filled bulb in it. That's what the actual brand of the bulb is called if you Google sun-filled bulb, light bulb. They're very accurate, tungsten balanced, LED bulbs, and they dim really well. They're just really warm. They have a look to where it looks like the old school bulbs that we grew up with. This was fairly simple. I had the Amaran tube light on a vice clamp, and I just had it on the TV setting, and that was it. that was literally it. So what you see in terms of the lighting on the wall from the blinds from my window, that came from, there was a floodlight outside of my building that will come from the other building. It will always come through that window. So I just opened up the blinds a bit, and it caused that texture on the wall. And then I took everything off of my table, that's right, my coffee table right in front, and I put some books there, and I just had it to where it was something there, but it was not distracting. So it just feels like a very lived in scene. And then, of course, you can't discount Harper being lit by the iPad. So it's giving like a nice soft light on his face as well. This portrait shot, this was also shot in the apartment. It was just shot up against the wall. I took everything, similar to Holy Grails, I took everything out of the little dining room area. This was lit with a Amaran 300 and the Amaran tube light above me on a combo stand and vice clamp, giving my hat that nice rim above. And so I wanted this to feel like it was taken in the studio. And I can't emphasize how much different this image probably looks if it doesn't have that top light. That, you know, the just the textures and the gradient on the hat alone just kind of create like a visual interest. The only thing I would probably change here now is I would probably add like a little LED, a little super dim LED on the front of the camera to give myself like that eye light. 'Cause I think that would have made this shot even more effective if there was like just a little twinkle in the eye. But again, this was supposed to be like, it was supposed to look like an actual portrait from in the studio. And then the ending of The Past Path that is featuring my pops, this was shot at the church in his office. And this was a pretty simple shoot too. So on the right side of the frame, I had that was just a lamp that was just there. It just looked, I just liked the way it looked. And I like the way that it's falling on the gold frame of the picture of my grandfather right there. I just love the way that just falls. It just feels very Malik Saeed Belly-ish to me. You did have light coming in from a window that's just right outside of the frame. But then above us and pointed really like directly at us, above frame was the Xeon C100 tube light with the diffusion and barn doors on it. But I had it blasting. I think I had it like 40 or 50%. And I had it daylight balanced. So it wouldn't like change any discoloration, not balanced for daylight. So it matched what was coming in through the window. And that was pretty simple. I like what it does to my dad's face, in that is giving him that, you know, that crispy backlight, like really chiseled look to where it pulls him out from the background. But at the same time, it's sort of sinking me into the image because it's kind of enclosing me in, you know. And I think it's speaking to the story, just me just kind of listening and just, I'm not the significant person of this shot. My dad is, you know. That's why the focus is on him. You know, I'm just his son who's listening to him teach me this lesson. But yeah, I'm gonna do some more of these. I got a lot more to go through, but I appreciate y'all. Be safe. Peace.